Hi, this is Amy Romeo from Amy Romeo Crafts, and this video today is a quick follow-up to this video where I showed you how to make these hair claw clips using faux leather and some craft glue. And I got a lot of questions about if you can put a name on these clips, and if so, how do you get that curve? So that's what I'll be showing you today in Cricut Design Space. I won't be showing you how to make the clip from start to finish, but you can watch that earlier video. I'll link to it for you. And if you want to get the free SVG to cut the faux leather for these clips, then you can get that from visiting amyromeo.com/design206, and I'll email the file right over to you. Some other supplies I'll be using: I'm using a Cricut Maker, but you can use any of the current Cricut machines because they all cut faux leather. I'm using some faux leather that's in a sheet and some regular white heat transfer vinyl. You could use glitter or foil iron-on. You could even use permanent vinyl if you'd like. And then I'm using my Easy Press Mini to press the heat transfer vinyl onto the faux leather. And then the glue that I'm using is called Stick Fast Thick. I'll have links to all of these supplies for you. This is basically a super glue, but you could also use a craft glue, something like Fabri-Tac or Aleene's. You'll just want to watch my earlier video for my technique for making sure that the faux leather stays on the clip as it's drying, and I share that in that video. So let's hop into Design Space. Let me show you how to create your name, and then I'll cut out my pieces and quickly assemble my hair clip for you. So starting with a blank canvas in Cricut Design Space, you'll click on Upload, and then Upload Image, and you'll browse to where the unzipped SVG file is for the claw clips. Click on it to select it and click Open. And then you'll see the shapes here. Click Upload. Click on it from your recent uploads row, and then click Add to Canvas. And this claw clip has two different size claw clip shapes. This is a 4-inch or 4.1-inch claw clip, and this is a 2-inch. I used these also in that earlier video, but I'm not going to use them today. So what I'm going to do is ungroup my shapes and delete those smaller shapes off of my canvas. Although if you wanted to use them to put an initial or maybe a picture, you could absolutely do that. So now that we have our claw clip shape, the way to add a name is by clicking on the text tool, and some default text will show up in a Cricut font. I'm going to use a font that I've installed on my computer, and I will link to the fonts that I'm using today. I get them from dafont.com. It's a free font website, and they're very easy to download and install. So I'm just going to double click on my text here. I'm going to type my daughter's name. Then I want to change the text. So I'll click up here on the arrow, and I'm looking in my system fonts. System fonts are fonts that I've downloaded. And what I'm going to do is search for a very popular font called Keep On Truckin' that I've downloaded. I'll click on it to select it. And now my name is in that font. So the first thing I want to do is drag this up to my clip. And I like to increase the font size, get it as large as possible for the clip without going over. And then if your letters are very close together, they could be hard to weed. So you might want to increase your letter spacing just a little bit. Now this works also for cursive fonts. So if you're using a cursive font, keep in mind you don't want to increase the letter spacing too much because then your letters may lose their connection to each other. But this looks pretty good. So the magic in getting our text to curve to the shape of the hair clip shape is just by clicking on this curve tool. So I'm going to click curve, and then all you want to do is start to drag this little slider, and you can see that dragging it this way makes your text curve in this kind of an arc, which is what we want. So I'll just kind of eyeball it, drag it a little more. Let's see. And that actually looks pretty good. If it's a little too far, you can just click on that curve again and sort of back it back up. And then once you have your curve the way you like it, you want to make a copy because we're going to put the name on both sides of the claw clip. So I'll just click on duplicate, and that's it. So I'll click the Make It button. We're cutting the material on a mat. And again, I walk you through step by step how to actually cut the faux leather for the claw clip in my older video, but this is really about adding the text. So what I'm going to do is mirror the text mat, which I'm going to cut from heat transfer vinyl. Also mirror the faux leather mat because both of these materials cut in reverse. Just going to put my shapes a little closer together so we can be smart with our materials and economical. There we go. I'll click continue. And then you'll just choose the material settings that correspond to your particular material selection. For this heat transfer vinyl mat, I'll use the vinyl setting with default pressure. For the faux leather mat, I'll use the faux leather paper thin setting with more pressure and repeat the cut one time. Okay, so let's hop back over to my overhead camera. I'm going to go ahead and cut out the faux leather and the vinyl for you and weed it away so I can just show you quickly how it all comes together in the finished hair clip. So I've got my vinyl name already cut and weeded out, as well as my faux leather shape for the clip. My Easy Press Mini is set to the low setting. You can also use a regular Easy Press. I would set it to about 265 degrees. So all we're going to do is line this up on top of the faux leather shape. Get that curve right. Try and keep the space between the letters and the edges even on both sides. That looks pretty good. Now we'll just cover with a cover sheet like butcher paper, parchment paper, or a little Teflon sheet. Just cover and press for about 10 seconds all over. I've been letting these cool for just a moment before I try to peel them, so I'll set that one to the side and press the second one. After we've pressed both names, I'm just going to return to my one that's cooled a little bit, hold the faux leather down, and then just slowly peel away that cover sheet. If when you're peeling the letters lift up, just place the cover sheet right back down and press for a few more seconds. But that actually looks pretty good. Now we'll just repeat with this one. There we go. This one's still a little warm. I'm going to place it underneath my pressing pad just to let it cool flat for a moment while we get ready to glue. So these clips have a little opening here, and you can do this in one of two ways. You can put the glue around the edges of your faux leather piece on the back and then flip it over and glue, or you can very carefully place your glue on your clip first and then place your faux leather piece on top. So I'm going to try that method. First, I'm going to set it down so I sort of get a visual of where I want the glue to go. So the nice thing about the Stick Fast Thick is it's not going to run. It's not a very liquidy super glue. So I recommend if you're using a fast drying glue like super glue, you use something like this or a gel formula super glue, something that's thick and that's not going to move. If you're using the craft glue, as I mentioned, you'll want to watch that earlier video for my technique for clipping the faux leather in place so that it can dry nice and flat. Okay, so all we're doing is opening up our glue. I'm going to just place it on the clip. There we go. Just place my name on top. Now I'm just tapping down with my finger, sort of tapping it into place. You want those edges to be nice and flat on the clip. And that looks pretty good. Now I'll just repeat on the other side. And that's it. Isn't that cute? So you can do these with solid faux leathers, with prints or patterns, any style letter you'd like. You could even do these for teams. So you could do softball or cheer. You could put players' names, their numbers, maybe a little softball graphic that you get from Design Space. Really easy and fun project. If you like this project, you might also like my flower faux leather hair clip video, and I will leave a link to that for you so you can watch that one as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.